Hey guys, welcome in. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. We have so much stuff to get to here in just a moment. Well, we knew it. We knew it was happening. Braun, the General Assembly, the Republicans who run our state, they flat out lied to you about the Bears Stadium. They flat out lied to you about how it's going to be paid for. They flat out lied to you saying, oh, well, unless you live in Northwest Indiana, you're not going to bear the brunt of this. Bull. We got new information that has come out, and we're going to tell you all about it here in just a moment. As usual, we were exactly right. And look, I think this is one of the things about this show, why our show's so important, why it's doing so well. We are leading with the topics that hit you here at home that nobody else is willing to talk about. And we have the freedom to say whatever we want to say. We have the ability, because we are loyal to you, to tell you the truth about what's going on. And so we're going to get into that in just a moment. But first, a couple of housekeeping items. First of all, I want to thank all of you over the past 7 weeks who have hit that support button over at robkendallshow.com. Have you been to robkendallshow.com? If you haven't, check it out. We got the live feed up there. We got all the on-demand podcast platforms. We've got articles each day around our favorite segments that we have done here on the Rob Kendall Show. And last but certainly not least, we've got that support button. And look, that is super important. So many of you, hundreds of you, have hit that support button over the past 7 weeks, letting us know, hey, love what you do, want to be a part of it, want to contribute. Yesterday, Ryan was super generous. Hit that support button. If you haven't yet, $1, $10, whatever it is, it's a great way for you to show, hey, on board with what you guys are doing. Here's my way of being a part of the community. We certainly appreciate everyone who has done that. Other things you can do to help us grow, and this is important. If you're new to the program, welcome. We're pretty much an all-local show, local in the sense of we talk about Indiana news, politics, and government 2 hours a day, every day. If we talk about national stuff, on the rare occasion we do that, we are doing that and bringing it back home. We're talking about national stuff, but we're also talking about how it affects you back here at home. Now, 3 things you can do to help us. 3 things, they don't cost a dime. If you're like, I'm too cheap to support this show, here's something you can do that doesn't cost you a single dime. Number 1, hit the thumbs up button. Let us know that you like the feed. Let us know you like the show. That really helps us grow. It really helps YouTube recognize us. That is a huge help growing the Rob Kendall Show. Also, subscribe to the channel. 2,400 subscribers now. 2,400 subscribers. We couldn't do it without you guys. Incredible growth. Incredible ability to grow this program, and that is based on a large part around so many of you who have hit that subscribe button. Please continue to help us by hitting the subscribe button. Tell your friends to do it as well. And last but certainly not least, share the feed. Let people know where we're at. We have to grow organically. We can't grow without you. Hit that share button, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're at on social media. You can help us get the word out about Rob Kendall Show. Now, we've got 2 great guests for you today. Doug Carter, former state police superintendent. He is going to be with us. He is going to be talking about the charges that have been filed against Tom Kleinhelter, the Dubois County sheriff. Huge announcement coming down last week from Ryan Mears. And that is just absolutely egregious that it took this long for something to happen to hold this guy accountable. Absolutely egregious that it took this long. But Doug Carter will be with us talking about the charges that came down against Tom Kleinhelter. And it was a big reason that happened was Doug Carter coming on our show last year, laying out that 80-page probable cause affidavit that the state police had put together against Tom Kleinhelter. And for some reason, after Mike Braun became governor, of course, Braun and Kleinhelter, very close political allies, there was no movement on this from the Orange County Special Prosecutor after Braun became the governor. So Doug Carter will be with us to talk about that. And John Rust is going to join us later on in the program. John Rust, of course, tried to run for U.S. Senate a couple years ago, challenged Indiana's ballot access law in court, won at the lower court, lost in a split decision at the Indiana State Supreme Court, And we'll be talking with John about Indiana's ballot access laws. We'll be talking about how prohibitive the two-party system has made it from regular people being able to run for public office, about how, let's just face it, they're just blatantly corrupt, our ballot access laws are, and they're designed to keep undesirables being regular people the parties can't control from running for public office. So John Ross will be with us to talk about that. Hey, before we get to our show today, don't leave your biggest investment to chance. Work with Lauren Wilson, a realtor who is Hoosier through and through, military vet, dedicated to a higher standard of service. Lauren Wilson is ready to help you start your next chapter. Look, real estate is about big life changes, and Lauren Wilson gets that. Whether you're upgrading for a growing family or downsizing for retirement, Lauren provides a hands-on experience that takes the stress out of the process. Lauren Wilson with At Properties. She'd love the opportunity to get to know you. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Whether you're in the home buying or selling market yet or not, get to know Lauren Wilson. You have that person in your pocket. Lauren Wilson with At Properties. 317-590-2290. I see producer Jason over there feverishly doing stuff. Am I good to start the program today? Do I sound good? Am I ready to go? Am I ready to amaze these people, producer Jason? Am I ready to amaze these people? Oh, very good. Okay, excellent. All right, here we go. All right, so the Indiana Capital Chronicle had an article this morning where they confirmed something that we have been telling you for months now. Well, I say Rob Kendall Show. For months on Facebook, for months on Twitter, and then now for 7 weeks on the Rob Kendall Show, which is don't buy the lies that you aren't going to pay for the Bears Stadium. Don't buy the lies that you aren't going to pay for the Bears Stadium no matter where you live in the state of Indiana. Because that's been the big excuse. Look, there are massive tax increases coming as a result of the Bears Stadium, if indeed the Bears move to Hammond, Indiana. And the General Assembly, Braun, first tried to kind of say, oh, well, there's not going to be these tax increases. And then you're like, the hell there aren't. Here they are right here. And then they quickly pivoted to, well, those tax increases are only going to be for people who live up in the region. It's not going to affect you. Yeah, sure, okay. We're going to raise the taxes of the people in the Northwest Indiana with the food and beverage tax and a hotel tax. But it's going to be a regional tax. You people in the state aren't going to pay for that. And I said, bull. Because buried in this bill was the ability to move money off the toll road, the I-80 toll road, Northwest Indiana. Buried under there was the ability to move money away from that, which is supposed to go to our roads, to the Bear Stadium. And now, not only have we confirmed that, but now the taxes are about to go up there to pay for the Bear Stadium. So here's what the Indiana Capital Chronicle wrote yesterday. This is so gross, guys. This is so gross. So the state of Indiana, according to the Capital Chronicle, has agreed to let the Indiana Toll Road's private operator, so remember, under Mitch Daniels, in exchange for a huge amount of cash, billions and billions and billions of dollars of guaranteed money from this private toll road operator, Indiana gave away the toll road, the right to use run the toll road. They gave it away. Now, under the legislation that passed this year, the private operator can increase the tolls on all vehicles in Northwest Indiana, not once, but twice a year, in exchange for a payment of $700 million going to the state of Indiana. So part of the deal on the original toll road is they can only raise tolls once a year. Now, under this new deal, in exchange for $700 million guaranteed going to the toll road, they can now raise the tolls twice. According to the Capital Chronicle, a toll rate for the full 157-mile trip is currently $16.21 for a Class 2 passenger vehicle and $87.49 for a Class 5 truck. The amendment now allows the operator to hike tolls twice a year, beginning in 2026 and rising every December 31st and June 30th thereafter. Now, here's the kicker. Currently, the tolls can increase by just 2% a year right now. The tolls cannot go up more than 2% a year. Now, under the new bill, the tolls can increase by 1.5% each time. Or if it's greater, by inflation. So basically, your toll before, 2% a year, now 3% or more instead of 2%. The operator going to make installment payments to the state of Indiana totaling $700 million. So $300 million within 30 days of this amendment taking effect, $200 million within 1 year of the first payment, and within 2 years, an additional $200 million. Now, that's bad enough, right? Your taxes are going up because if you have to use that road to get where you're going, your taxes are going up. And if you don't have a choice but to pay it, your taxes that is a tax. If you don't have a choice but to pay it, your taxes are going up. That's a tax, and they're going up. No ifs, ands, or buts. The taxes are going up. Now, here's where this gets super gross. And again, let me point out, we were right. This was not just some local tax they were trying to lie and say. This is a tax increase for any person who uses that road, no matter where you come from. If you use that road, no matter where you live in the state of Indiana, your taxes are going up. So what's going to happen to this money? It's going to do a special fund for transportation and infrastructure projects in a 7-county area, including Lake County, including Northwest Indiana, including which would impact the city of Hammond, Indiana, which is the prospective site of the new Chicago Bears Stadium. This isn't going to be money that's going to go to the rest of the state. Where I live in Brownsville, we're not going to get any of this. In Fishers, you're not going to get any of this. In Greenwood or in Shelbyville, you're not getting any of this. All of this money now is going to stay in the northwest part of the state. Why? Because that's where the Bears Stadium is going to go. This is a tax increase on you. A tax increase on you to funnel money to the Bears Stadium if indeed the Bears go to Northwest Indiana. Oh, and by the way, all the toll road operator has to do of these billions of dollars they're going to collect, all the toll road operator has to do is put a measly $25 million in capital improvements into the toll road within 5 years. $5 million a year. That's it. That road sucks. That's nothing. That's not even maintenance. So you're going to pay extra taxes for a road that will not be kept up, and that money is going to be funneled into a specific area to go to infrastructure projects, primarily the Bears Stadium if they move here. That was always the intent. This is what the Indiana Republican Party always does. You are going to pay higher taxes all over the place. The food and beverage up there, tax increase. Hotels, tax increase. And now the roads, like if you need to get to work, tax increase. Another predatory tax from the Indiana General Assembly and Mike Braun, the Indiana Republican Party and Mike Braun. But Democrats' fingerprints are all over this too. Of course, Republicans run everything. But the Democrats' fingerprints are all over this too. And all that we're going to get as taxpayers is $25 million over 5 years on that road, which isn't going to make a damn bit of difference. It's just gross. We were right. These guys, they're going to, and they look, when the Bears Stadium fails, just like Lucas Oil Stadium has failed. I mean, think about it. We still owe over $450 million on Lucas Oil Stadium. You know, for all these people, oh, what a resounding success. Not financially. Not the nuts and bolts of finances. That's not been a resounding success. We're 18 years into Lucas Oil Stadium, and we still owe $450 million on it. And, of course, we paid for the RCA Dome, Hoosier Dome, for 12 years after it was torn down. So when the Bears... look, if you can't make Lucas Oil Stadium work financially, how are you going to make a stadium in Northwest Indiana with a fraction of the built-in customer base work? So when it fails, there'll be more tax increases. More shenanigans from the Indiana Republican Party. We knew it. It's absolutely happening, and your taxes now are going to go up to pay for it. This is what Republicans do. This is the Indiana Republican Party way. This is who Mike Braun and the Indiana GOP are. Look, most of you guys know I hate to fly. And I hate to leave my house. And I generally hate to go anywhere. And a big reason for that is trip planning just sounds overwhelming. It just sounds like too much for me to take on. And I struggle to even ponder where to get started. But not anymore, because I've met Adam Baltus, Baltus Travel Service. Adam is a one-stop shop for any adventure you want to take, anywhere in the world. Hotels, rental cars, flights, you name it. Adam can do it for you. And the great thing about using Baltus Travel Service is in most cases, using them, not going to cost you a dime extra, not going to add a dime extra to the cost of your trip. Adam Baltus handles it all, takes the worry out of trip planning. Sign me up for that. Adam's certified through most major cruise lines as well as Disney and Universal theme parks. Get started today by visiting baltustravel.com. That's BALTUS travel.com or call 812-593-7561. Baltus Travel, 812-593-7561. Okay, guys, we've got a lot to get to today. We got to talk about how you're now subsidizing people's daycare with a big old dollar amount after Braun just not that long ago said the program absolutely stinks. But now, because he's in charge of it, he wants all of it. Jacob Stewart from the Indy Star has a fascinating opinion piece where he just shreds this Brenda Wilson woman who's running over there in that chaotic Senate District 38. We have a ton of stuff to get to, but when we come back, former State Police Superintendent Doug Carter is going to be with us. Doug Carter coming on our show last year, exposing the lack of action by Mike Braun, by the Indiana State Police, by Orange County Prosecutor Holly Huddleston on the 80-page probable cause affidavit against Braun's close political ally, Tom Kleinhelter, blew the lid off this. It put statewide media attention on it, and ultimately it resulted in Ryan Mears, of all people, the Marion County prosecutor, finally charging Tom Kleinhelter. Orange County, Southwest Indiana, they wouldn't do anything about it. Ryan Mears stepped up and finally brought charges against Tom Kleinhelter. We will talk with Doug Carter when we come back about why he spoke out, about what he thinks actually went on with Kleinhelter, about why he thinks charges weren't filed, and a whole bunch more. Explosive interview when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
That dirty, rotten Tom Kleinhelter is going down. Well, hopefully he's going down. And let's reset everything that happened. It's Rob Kendall Show. Join in studio, former State Police Superintendent Doug Carter. Doug, hello.
It's good to see you, Rob. It's good to be here with you.
I was so happy for you the other day, and another guy who we'll talk about here in a second, that the charges were announced. Ryan Mears, Marion County prosecutor, charges against Tom Kleinhelter, Dubois County Sheriff, related to false statements he gave to state police. And I felt great for you because you were one of the major reasons that happened. You would not let that case go. Of course, this relates to blatant misuse of public monies by the Dubois County Sheriff, an 80-page probable cause affidavit that your state police put together, one of your decorated law enforcement officers put together, and then it just disappeared. And you came on our show last year, and you laid this out, and it got a statewide media fury, and I'm convinced that that's why there are charges today. What were your thoughts when you saw the charges come down against Tom Kleinhelter?
Well, I got to say, Rob, initially I started to have some disbelief in the system that I've been a part of for 40 years. And again, it's not necessarily personal to me, but it's the difference between right and wrong. And I knew that no one else in Indiana would have been treated this way. We've done hundreds of these kinds of cases. On the heels of Jamie Knoll, the same detective that worked on the Jamie Knoll case.
What's the deal with these sheriffs, man?
I don't know. I was one.
You were one.
I was one, and the love of money is the root of all evil, and I really believe that to be true. I always have encouraged them. I even specifically referenced Rich Kelly and Ashley Kelly. I met with them before they took office and said, money, 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 money.
Right.
Stay away from it.
Is that the thing? Because it's so easy, like with this commissary money, hey, it just flows into the sheriff. It's just sort of at their disposal.
It is, but it's still an intentional act of wrongdoing to take something that's not yours.
Oh, totally.
And I don't care what the dollar amount is.
Right.
I've taken a little bit of heat over that, and I stand by the decisions that I made.
Well, this wasn't a small amount of money that we're talking about. This guy was tens and tens of thousands of dollars.
It was.
How did he get away with it? Like what? How? First of all, is there any doubt in your mind he did it?
Oh, absolutely not. The 80-page probable cause. I mean, you take a look at that. Now it's public.
Right.
It wasn't before. Now it's public.
You told us what was in it.
I did.
A little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was the right thing to do, and I'm not going to apologize for that. But that PC is as solid as just about anything I've ever read.
Were you surprised that no charges were filed based on? So just kind of reset for everyone. He's the Dubois County Sheriff. You guys get a tip or information from State Board of Accounts. You're working off of that, right?
It wasn't just a tip. It was an investigation that they had done that said there's some real wrongdoing here.
Right. And so that's what started this.
Correct.
You put together the 80-page probable cause affidavit. This special prosecutor from Orange County, Holly Huddleston, I think is her name, at no point gives you guys any inkling of, hey, I've got serious concerns about any of the work you guys are doing. Were you shocked that nothing happened after you stopped being state police superintendent?
Well, first of all, she indicated to us that she was going to pursue criminal charges.
Aha, so she made you guys think, hey, this is going down.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why she had Jeff Herron do some additional work to that probable cause affidavit, which was great. I applauded her attention to detail of that PC and what she wanted added to it to show intent, which is very important.
Right.
And so Jeff did that. And he added, I think, 14 or 15 bullet points to his PC, answering and articulating what she asked for.
And there was nothing from her, though, ever like, hey, this just doesn't pass the smell test. It's not the level of criminal behavior. I'm having trouble making a case here. Like, you never got any of that from her. Never. So the only thing that really changed is Braun becomes governor and you're out as state police superintendent.
Well, and I remember I did call Josh Kelly. I wish I wouldn't have done that. I did it as a courtesy.
Josh Kelly's the chief of staff for Braun.
He is.
And what did you say in that conversation?
Just basically, as a common courtesy, I want the governor-elect to know that the sheriff of his county is about to get arrested.
Because that's his guy. Braun and Kleinhelter were buddies.
That really had nothing to do with my relationship with him. And if they were just buddies, I wouldn't have called him.
Yeah.
But he was the incoming governor. And Kelly was cordial, but distant. Thanks for the phone call. I'll let the governor-elect know, and that's the last I heard about it.
Well, that would be Josh Kelly in a nutshell, cordial but distant. I think that pretty much sums it up. Is there any doubt in your mind that Braun knew this was going down? Like, is there, like, how does, because I think this is what people are having trouble squaring. You've laid this out, 80-page probable cause affidavit, state police or state board of accounts investigation that triggers the whole thing. The prosecutor's on board. And then all of a sudden, this guy becomes the governor. This is his guy. And a new state police superintendent comes in and it all goes away. There's no way Braun wasn't aware of this, was it?
I'm not sure how he could be, especially knowing what we know now about the Mid-States Corridor and how involved he is down there and the depth of relationships. I'm not criticizing the governor's depth of his relationships nor his success. I applaud his success, but I don't care about it.
Why wasn't this a bigger story until you came on our show? Like, I think about that, like with the Mid-States Corridor. Is this just a reality of it doesn't happen in Indianapolis? We just don't cover it up here? Because this was guilty as sin. I developed a really, really good working relationship with local media and national media and even global media. And I was very disappointed that they didn't see this as something that deserves some attention. Quite frankly, Rob, you've got a history of doing what you think is right, no matter the consequence. And I don't know of anybody that's ever done it quite like you have. Oh, we're going to clip that. Let's clip that. We're going to use that for the show.
Well, it's true. I feel that way. You'll say it, even though, people aren't going to like it and they're going to hate you for it. And I was disappointed because I knew the difference between right and wrong. I'd been the superintendent for 12 years. Right. That's a long time.
Why did you do that to yourself? That sounds like a horrible thing to do to yourself.
Because I love these troopers. Yeah. And I love what they do for everybody in Indiana. And my criticism of the agency that I love, it has nothing to do with 99% of them because they're wonderful people. It has to do with the people that are currently in leadership.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to point out was that you took this on after you were superintendent. You didn't have to do this. Why did you engage on this topic? Why did you lean in and say, hey, I'm going to speak out publicly about this?
Well, there wasn't much I could do on the criminal side of this with Holly Huddleston did. And I vehemently opposed and disagree with what she did and how she came to the decision. By the way, we don't have a reason why she came to the decision because she didn't.
She still hasn't given one.
She's still never given one, but she's required to by law. But when I realized what they were doing to one of the very best detectives the ISP has ever known, and a guy named Jeff Herron, there's people that don't like him, people don't like me, people don't like you. I could care less about that. What I do care about is they gutted him. And after almost 40 years in this business, with over 100 homicides, school shootings, Dejan Reed, those kinds of cases, the high-profile cases that have enormous consequence. And they ruined that detective by bringing charges against him. I had literally hundreds, probably 300 at least disciplinary matters in my tenure there. And I've never seen anything so cooked up as I did this.
Yeah, how does he get his reputation back? Because he's been vindicated, not that he needed vindicated, but you've got clear shenanigans going on in Southwest Indiana that this guy didn't get charged to begin with. He speaks up because he should be on behalf of the taxpayers, and he gets punished for this. Now he's been totally vindicated by Ryan Mears. Does he get an I'm sorry? Does he get a, here's a promotion to help you? Like, it's like the guy got totally screwed and he just gets nothing out of this.
No, and he doesn't, and he won't get anything out of it. He's not heard from anybody about this. And it's, here's a guy that's given so much of his life, and I'm not asking for sympathy, and I know Jeff's not either. But I tried to talk to Anthony Scott about this.
That's the state police superintendent now.
But now I understand the relationships with Scott and the other members of his senior staff and the Alliance and the governor's office and Josh Kelly and how all these relationships came to the current leadership of the ISP. So, they'd be surprised to know what I know now. They'd be surprised to know that of the conversations I know they had. And all I tried to do was build a succession model that was transparent, completely clean, and we could talk about anything. But Anthony never wanted to hear any of it, and I take that pretty personal because I loved him.
Well, and people lose faith in the system when this happens because this guy, Kleinhelter, obviously did it. The 80-page probable cause affidavit, which is public, everybody can read it. He's so guilty. There's no question about it. Right. And the fact that it got covered up people just look at it and go, there are two tiers of justice. I mean, the people who, look, there are guilty people who are always like, I got framed, I got railroaded. But those people are ridiculous. But there are clearly two levels of justice. This guy got off because he's buddies with Braun. There's no doubt about it in my mind. None.
I believe that too.
And he would have got away with it totally if you hadn't spoke up. It's just beyond me. Do you miss being state police superintendent?
I was asked that question just last night at an event, and I said it about a month ago is the first time I've slept all night. And it's been 14, 15 months now.
Yeah.
But I'm finally able to sleep at night. The answer to the question is I'm the luckiest guy on the planet Earth. I left nothing on the table there and tried very, very hard. Even though I was criticized, Rob Kendall.
By me. Every day.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Did you ever?
But yeah, it was really good. It was a great ride. And I appreciate, again, what Governor Pence and Governor Holcomb did for me, but more importantly, what they did for the rank and file, the state police officers out there. It was a wonderful ride, and I'm a lucky guy.
Like when we would be mean to you, did you know about it?
Yeah.
Really?
Sure.
Oh, you heard about it?
Oh, of course.
Did it bother you? Because we were pretty mean to you.
Yeah, you were. Man. Yeah. But I'm a big boy. If I had thought I was like doing something wrong, like a lot of people currently, then I probably would have been a little more defensive. But I couldn't. There was things I couldn't talk about with Delphi.
Yeah,
I know you wanted me to.
I know,
and we were very critical of the quote secrecy associated with that.
Well, you came on, and in fairness, say last year you came on and did an interview about that.
Yeah, and I look back on that period of time, and it was so sad, and it was brutal, and we were getting beat up from around the world. But when I looked at those detectives and saw what they were doing, and that community up there, it made it all worthwhile. So it was okay. And
now we're friends.
Absolutely.
At least I tell you, people, you're my friend. Sorry
I still want constitutional carry, but
Horrible. Oh, it was a good bill, Doug. I can't believe you spoke against it. Doug Carter's our guest.
Wait a second. I only did for the frontline police officers in Indiana to not be able to determine who's proper and who's not. I think the bill is absolutely correct. I have no issue with the Second Amendment. I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment, but I'm a bigger supporter of the safety of every police officer in Indiana. So that's the only reason that I spoke out against it.
Hey, before we let you go, Doug Carter's our guest. You ever thought about writing a book? Like, you saw so much stuff. Have you ever said, like, I think people would eat that up? I mean, you were state police superintendent at a time where so many things were happening in our state.
Yeah.
Ever thought about doing that?
Yeah, but people think it's fiction. I have, actually. I just talked to a friend, actually, that's writing a book himself, and he asked me if I'd ever thought about it. And the answer is I have, but I would have no idea how to even begin.
Well, I'll help you. I'll ghostwrite it for you.
It's right up here. It's all up there. But
I didn't say that the Governor Holcomb was a such and such and a so and so. How did that get in there? How I think this is important. Is Kleinhelter the exception to the rule? Like, are Knoll and Kleinhelter, are they outliers, or is there a lot more government corruption than we actually know about?
Well, we remember, Rob, we had probably, and this is a guesstimate, 20 to 30 investigations of elected officials on the rolls on any given week around Indiana.
Any week?
In a week. They're always, whether they're clerks, council members, commissioners, sheriffs, auditors, fire chiefs, police chiefs, sheriffs, merit board members. I mean, all of those people. And if generally, we have wonderful detectives and wonderful relationships with prosecutors, generally speaking. So yes, those guys are very, very busy. The white collar, organized crime, corruption people are very, very, very busy people. So that's one of the reasons I'm pretty passionate about this, because I've never in 40 years seen anything like this. So a logical person would come to the same conclusion, knowing what we know now. And again, we know more than they think we do now.
Could Huddleston come out today and go, "I've changed my mind, we're going to charge him"?
No, what Huddleston ought to do today is do the right thing and say, I didn't follow the statute. They required me to do A and B. So I'm gonna step away from this case and encourage Beth Schroeder, the prosecutor of Dubois County, to ask for a third or actually
so she
could
could do that.
Well, she could, because it's still a pending matter with the court that appointed her as a special prosecutor, as I understand it.
Yeah.
So that way, let's everybody calm this down. Let's get a special prosecutor that's third party.
Yeah.
That is agnostic to all of the detail and the rumor and speculation. it would take about 3 hours to go over that PC.
Right.
And for most people to say to that PC, no, we've got problems here.
And everybody should, in the media, our world, should be asking Braun how this happened.
You said that the other day, Rob, and I couldn't agree with you more. He's under a lot of pressure right now, and that's okay. That's part of the job. But I find it very interesting of the silence associated with this,
right?
Both from my side internally. I've had a brief conversation with Anthony Scott face to face in 14 months.
And you were buddies with him.
I brought him up.
Yeah. And the fact that he doesn't talk to you anymore, it's crazy.
I knew his family and the other people that are on his staff, and I don't know who they are anymore. I just don't know who they are. But you can't treat people the way they're treating them, and it can't be okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to let it be okay. Not much I can do, but I do have a voice.
Yeah.
And I don't care what people think of me. So that makes me a bit on the...
Welcome to the club.
Sit here with you anytime.
Yeah. Doug Carter, look, and seriously, and I said this about the Mid-States Corridor people, thanks for speaking out on this, because if you hadn't spoken out, he would have got away with it. And the fact that it took Ryan Mears in Marion County to bring justice to this, those people in Southwest Indiana should be ashamed of that prosecutor. They should be ashamed of Anthony Scott. They should be ashamed of Mike Braun. And you avenged... You got justice, and you avenged the name of Jeff Herron, who's an awesome dude, and thank you for doing that, because you didn't have to do it, so thank you.
Kudos back to you.
Yeah. All right. Former State Police Superintendent Doug Carter, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheeson.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Special thanks to former State Police Superintendent Doug Carter. Look, we talk about this a lot on this show, about one of the reasons the bad guys keep winning, the bad guys being the bad actors in the government, is because good people who know the difference between right and wrong and they know what's going on, they don't speak up. I know There are a lot of people out there who know a lot of stuff who just sit quietly by and they let it happen because they don't want to deal with the blowback. They got some sort of personal interest in it. They just want to go about their day. And when you're dealing with rotten, corrupt, horrible actors, they're going to take full advantage of that and exploit it. You know, I think about, like, here's a great example. I know numerous people who have talked to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office about the Lieutenant Governor's Office and their investigation. Numerous people, including prominent people, people who have a voice right now. They're not saying a word publicly. They know what they told the prosecutor's office, and they could tell everybody right now. The same way Aaron Sheridan came on our show last year and told people exactly what was going on. They're people with voices. They're people of prominence. They're people with influence, people with platforms. And they don't speak out. And when you sit silently, these rotten people take full advantage of it. They bank on nobody calling out their BS. And look, Doug Carter is a hero because Doug Carter didn't have to speak up. Doug Carter was done. He has a great life. He is financially secure. He made a conscientious decision to step back in and put a target on himself. And he did it because it was the right thing to do. And we had a little fun with it earlier. I gave Doug Carter a lot of crap over things like constitutional carry and Delphi. And hey, I don't regret any of that. I'm not going to sit here and say we didn't say it. But Doug Carter knew, and he got in a little bit of this during our interview. Doug Carter knew last year, he's like, there's one guy who will take this on. There's one guy who I know I can go to, and he will fight this fight for the people, and that was me. And truth be told, I don't think I'd ever had more than about a 5 to 10 second conversation with Doug Carter ever before that. And he reached out to me, and he said, I'd like to meet with you. And I went, and we had about an hour-long conversation. And he just told me what was going on. And he said, will you take this on? Will you fight on this like you fight on other things? And I said, let me look into it. And the more I looked into it, not that I had any reason to doubt Doug Carter, but I don't just, when I get approached with things that happen all the time, like the Mid-States Corridor stuff, I don't just go with one person. I have my own process of putting things together. It's why we're right. It's why we get things right. It's why we break news. That's why these people hate us, but they can't refute what we say. They just attack me. And so I went through a very meticulous process over months of confirming the things that he had told me. And it all checked out, and I said, okay, let's go with it. And Doug Carter put himself on our show and for an hour told the truth. And then he came back and told the truth again. And the story never wavered. And because of that, that launched a lot of interest in Tom Kleinhelter and what he was doing and his relationship with Braun across the state of Indiana, media outlets across the state. And ultimately, and look, who knows exactly Ryan Mears' process, I am sure that media attention sparked Mears' investigation, or at least if he wasn't already looking into it, if he was already looking into it, amped it up. And now, ultimately, hopefully justice is going to be served because Doug Carter did the right thing. There are so many people who have the ability to do the right thing and choose not to. And rotten, nasty people exploit the hell out of that. Jeff Herron, decorated law enforcement officer, did the right thing. He got screwed personally. I know all about getting screwed for doing the right thing. Trust me. Welcome to the club, Jeff. But you got to make that choice in life. You got to decide, are you willing to pay a personal sacrifice, or are you going to let the bad guys win? And there's a lot of people, including people in the media, who just let the bad guys win. They have a real platform for change. They have a real platform for accountability. They have a real platform for difference. And they don't use it because they don't want the smoke. They don't want the heat. Doug Carter was going to take the smoke and the heat. Look, he got a lot of flack over the years he was state police superintendent. Some of it he deserved. But he don't care. He's doing the right thing here. Just like I think in his mind, whether it was Delphi or constitutional carry or whatever, I think he felt he was doing the right thing on those. And that's okay. We need more Doug Carters out there who are willing to speak up when they have nothing to gain and everything to lose. He did the right thing. Justice is being served. So thank you to Doug Carter for speaking out, and hopefully that will serve as a lesson to a lot of people about how to live your life, about what to do, and about you got to be above yourself. You got to be bigger than yourself. You got to be bigger than your own personal interest. Speak the truth. Tell the people what you can. Give them the information they deserve, and if you got to pay a little bit of a price for it, so be it. I'm proof you can speak the truth and have more fun than you've ever had in your life. People will reward honesty. People will reward people who go to bat for them. You got to endure a little pain, a little heartache in the process. But in your own life, don't take people's crap. If you see bad people doing bad stuff, call it out. Call it out. Be relentless about it. Learn from what Doug Carter did. We can all learn a very valuable lesson there. Hey, guys, before choosing a mortgage, it's smart to talk with someone local and someone you can trust, someone you can actually sit down with. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage is a local lender helping buyers and homeowners across central Indiana with home purchases, refinancing, and strategies to manage debt using home equity. Gary Tedrow focuses on education, on guidance, so you understand your options before making a decision. No pressure, just solid advice from someone like you. Visit loansbygary.homes. Let me try that again. Loansbygary.homes or call 317-695-5179. 317-695-5179. It's no obligation, no hassle. You call, tell them your situation, takes a look at what you got going on, see if you can do better. If not, you're out nothing but a little bit of your time. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. Guys, couple of reminders, things you can do to help grow the show. And many of you I know do this every single day, and it's like a broken record, but it works, and this is why we tell you to do it. First of all, if you haven't, hit the thumbs up button, whether you're watching live or on demand. We get a lot of viewers that come back throughout the course of the day to watch this program. Hit the thumbs up button. Let us know that you like what we're doing. It helps us, really helps us with YouTube. Also, subscribe to the channel. We passed the 2,400 number in 7 weeks. That's more than 300 subscribers a week. That is amazing. That's awesome. Very, very few podcasts in the state of Indiana can say they did that certainly this fast. Not many. None, basically, that fast. But we got to keep growing. Because every subscriber, every person who finds us, that's an opportunity for us to make a difference in terms of the public dialogue. We've seen real growth in terms of our numbers on all the platforms. Don't forget, we're also on Apple, we're on Spotify. You can get us at all the places. We've seen real growth in these numbers, which is real growth in our influence over the past 2 weeks. And that's because of you guys. It's working. The process, the system is working. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And last but certainly not least, share the feed. Let people know. Rob Kendall Show, 10 to noon, live on YouTube and then on demand where you get your podcasts, wherever you're listening from, wherever you're viewing from. Let people know about Rob Kendall Show. Nobody does local like us. Nobody takes on local issues like us. Nobody holds local politicians, Indiana news, politics, government. Nobody does it like us. Tell your friends. People will like us. We're pretty good. Once we get people in, we're pretty good at keeping them, but we need you to help us grow. So share the feed, YouTube, the YouTube feed. The Apple feed, the Spotify feed. Share it wherever you're at, Facebook, Twitter. Just link to us. It really helps people know where we're at and what we're doing. And last but certainly not least, if you're feeling generous, we like money around here, and we certainly always accept it. And if you like what we do, the support button over at robkendallshow.com is a great way to show that. Ryan gave generously yesterday. Hundreds of you have joined the family, people who have given generously to support our show. We certainly appreciate that, and I always try to send a thank you note to each person who does that, and we try to mention you on the show as well. So all those things you can do to help us grow. Okay, let's get back to the content. Here's the crazy thing about Republicans. Republicans love socialism as long as they are the ones handing out the money. Have you guys noticed this? How Republicans rail on people like Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders. Oh, they're socialists. They just want to take other people's stuff and give it to someone else. All on board with railing against that. It's yours. You owned it. If it's not a vital part of government service, government shouldn't be able to take it from you. Not if it's not funding vital government services, government shouldn't be able to take it from you. However, Republicans, have you noticed how often they do the exact same thing they tell you someone else is horrible for? Like, take, for example, property taxes. What are property taxes? Property taxes are unrealized capital gains. The state says, your home is worth X. You say, well, okay, that's great, but it doesn't matter to me because I'm not selling my home. Yeah, but your home's worth more than what it was last year. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because I'm not selling it. Well, but we're going to tax you based on what we say it's worth. That is an unrealized capital gain. Republicans screamed in 2024 about Kamala Harris proposing to tax unrealized capital gains on people like Elon Musk. Called her every name under the sun. Except they do the exact same thing here. And when you call them out on it, they go, well, how would you fund the fire department? Complete hypocrisy. They call other people out and then they do the exact same thing. And what I'm about to tell you is another example of Republicans claiming to hate socialism, taking money from people and giving it to someone else, unless they're in charge and can dole it out and can participate and can benefit from a legalized vote buying operation. So if you're a hardworking person, if you're a person who does things the right way, you got kids like me, you get up, you go to work each day, you got to pay for daycare. And unless you're at the very, very bottom, the government tells you to go F yourself. You pay for daycare. I'll pay for daycare. I'll pay. We still don't know who pays for India, but I'll tell you, I pay for the daycare. And we have a great daycare. May is awesome. Many of you have been with us a long time, know all about May. We love May. She's awesome to our daughter. And I'm happy to pay it. But I made the choice to have a child. You know why? I paid attention in sex ed class. And not to get too personal here, but over the many, many years of interpersonal relationships, I never had a child until I was ready to have a kid. It's not hard. Maybe we'll ask producer Jason about it. He has a child, and then he had no more children. Why? We'll ask him about that later. If you have an IQ above 7, you can pretty much figure out when to have a kid and when not to have a kid if you're capable of having children. I am proof. I went 38 years not having a child, and then when I was ready to have a child, within about 3 or 4 months, we had a child, or we were conceived with child. My point is, you as an adult have a responsibility on whether or not you want to have kids. And if you want to have kids, the number one thing that you have an obligation to ain't your iPhone, ain't your Nikes. It's not an evening at the Bellagio, at the casino. It's watching that kid. And if you're not going to watch the kid, paying for someone to watch the kid who's responsible. That's the number one job as a parent. It's not too much to ask. It's not an undue burden. You know how kids are formed. You know how kids are made. Unless you're the Virgin Mary, it's worked the same way for everybody else in human history. You know how it works. If you choose to engage in that behavior, it's your responsibility to watch that kid. No excuses. When I lost my job, I had to make a choice because I knew I was going to start this endeavor. And it's a lot of cost and a lot of buildup. And I said, look, I can go work a job, make guaranteed money, or I can do this. The number one thing I sat down and with my wife, we talked about is, okay, let's make sure we can afford somebody to watch Livy. Because my wife works full-time. She has a full-time job. And we've done that. I've made other life changes, other life choices, because I believe in this. But I didn't put myself ahead of my kid. Why? Because I chose to have a child. And the number one job I will have until the day I'm no longer here is watching after that kid. It's the most basic of well, duh. And our government doesn't seem to understand that. And our Republican government doesn't seem to understand that. So Republicans in Indiana, Mike Braun, supermajority in the Indiana General Assembly. Now, keep in mind, let's remind everybody, last year, you were told by Braun and the Republicans who run this state there was no money left in the budget. None. For essentials, none. And what'd they do? They raised your taxes by $1 billion last year. Do I have to take my word for it? There's all sorts of news articles written about it. The Republicans balanced their budget, which they're legally obligated to do last year, by raising taxes by $1 billion on Hoosiers. That's on top of all the other fees and everything else, which are taxes anyway. But I mean, at the end of the session, they had like 4 months to get this budget ready. And at the end, they were like, oh, crap, we really misjudged how much money we're going to have. We better raise taxes by $1 billion. That's who manages your money. Oops. Now, it turns out they couldn't even forecast correctly, and they got hundreds of millions, now probably billions more than they anticipated. Imagine if you ran your life that way. Oops. How much money are you going to make? No idea. How are you going to pay for stuff? No idea. How are you going to live? Don't know. Guess I'll just steal it from someone if it doesn't work out right. Oh, and then when I steal the money I didn't need, I don't have to give it back. That's your government in operation. So last year they raised taxes on you by $1 billion, then came out and said, oh, we were wrong. We had plenty of money. Do we get our tax increases back? Nope. We're just going to hang on to it. So now, despite last year telling you they had no money to pay for necessities, roads, bridges, sidewalks, state police, all the basic stuff, Governor Braun is going to give $200 million of your money to childcare vouchers that support low-income families. Like, I read this, and I was just like, it was so funny. The Capitol Chronicle did the article. I love Nikki Kelly. Nikki Kelly messaged me yesterday. She's like, hey, I just want to let you know, we got an article. It's really going to piss you off tomorrow. It's like, what's the article? I'm not telling you. I want to see your face. I messaged her this morning and said, I am very angry. She said, I knew it. I knew you would be. So no money to do basics of government. Then they suddenly have $200 million to pay for daycare for someone else who had made the choice to have a kid. You, on the other hand, you're going to keep going to work and paying for daycare. You're going to keep going to work and paying for daycare. On top of that, Braun previously said the program had grown unsustainably through the one-time COVID-19 funding. By the way, numerous people have written about this. I'm working off an article from the Indy Star. I know we mentioned the Capitol Chronicle. I wanted to make sure I think they have an article on this as well, but I want to make sure I'm working on an article from the Indy Star. We always want to try to give credit with who has the story. So Indy Star has a story on this as well. That's what we're using. According to the Star, Braun had said the program was grown unsustainably through one-time COVID-19 funding. He said it's not a realistic foundation for state programming. Yet, what did he just do? He just threw a bunch of one-time money at a program. He's doing the exact thing he was critical of until he wanted to buy the love and buy the votes. That's what Braun's doing. Braun was right. This is ridiculous. The hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars from hardworking people that get taken from them and then given to someone else who made the choice to have a child. Where's my free daycare? When do I get it? Listen to the... because the Star article did not have the requirements to qualify for this. And so I actually, speaking of Nikki Kelly, had reached out to her. So she gave me this data because, of course, nobody knows government like Nikki Kelly. In order to qualify, this is all you have to prove. Families must work, attend training, or be in school. Well, crap. I've been training myself on how to be a podcaster. Do I qualify? Is that training? I didn't know how to do this. Had to train myself. Producer Jason and I still in training. First 5 seconds of today's show proves that. We're still in training. Do we qualify? You have to work 40 hours a week. Like, I work like 80 hours a week on this show. Be in school. What? So, like, if I go back to school, do I qualify? Now, listen to this. Gross income must be at or below 150% of the federal poverty level. By the way, every TV, radio station should be talking about this in our city. This is so disgusting in our state. And if they're not, ask them why. If someone is in the talk business, TV, radio, and they're not talking about this, ask them why. This is disgusting, what is going on here. Gross income must be at or below 150% of the federal poverty level. Kids must be 13 or 19 with special needs, must be 13 or less, or 19 with special needs, and a U.S. citizen. Okay, look, if your kid is 12 years old, you don't need daycare anymore. When I was 10, I was able to stay home alone. You know, don't stick your finger in a light socket. Don't answer the door for strangers. Just let babysitter television run the show, right? Like, there's 13 and your kid gets daycare? Who the hell is getting daycare at 13 years old? That's junior high. That's middle school. And I'm paying for some kid to have daycare? Get out of here. Get out of here. That's gross. All right. So I was like, okay, what is the federal poverty level? Okay, so if you got a kid, obviously it must be at least 2 people. So I threw out 1 person because we're talking about a kid here. The federal poverty level for 2 people is $21,640. So I did some math, and so you multiply that by 1.5, right? 150%. 150% of federal poverty level qualifies. So just rough math says, let's multiply it by 2, or I'm sorry, by 1.5. And that gets us to $30,000. $30,000. What percentage of people that are actually trying are under $30,000? Like if you're trying to, you could work multiple jobs, which again, if you got daycare, shouldn't be that big of a deal. You made the choice to have the kid. What sort of person works 2 jobs and makes under $30,000? Because people are like, well, Rob, you're being very heartless about this. You damn right I am. Because you made the choice to have the kid. It's your responsibility to raise the kid. And now you're asking me to pay for it. So if you're going to take my money, I'm going to tell you what I think. Look, I don't tell people how to live their lives unless they start coming for my stuff. And in this case, people are coming for my stuff. I'm not getting free daycare. I'm paying. I pay. Now, if you're at 3 people, so that would be like a single parent with 2 kids. Again, you made the choice to have the kid. It's $27,320. Multiply that. Let's just say it's $35,000. Now you're making the choice to have multiple children. Multiple children. And we're talking about, and this is the biggest question of all that we should be asking. It's not even, like, I don't even blame people for being able to game the system, which is basically what we're talking about. I blame the government. It's like, I don't blame the bears for sticking it to the people of Indiana. They're a business. Their job is to make money. I blame our government that won't do the right thing. Look, I'm sorry, but what is going on in our state? What an indictment of our state that there are this many poor people who qualify. That we've got to inject, this is on top of what we're already doing. We're injecting an additional $200 million into free daycare. What are we doing? I thought Indiana had a robust economy. This is what I hear from Braun. I thought the IEDC was this great magic bullet that is bringing so many great jobs to our state, that's making so much money for everyone. Of course, we're also subsidizing the IEDC. Hundreds of millions of dollars every year go to that corrupt organization. How is it possible that our state is so gangbusters? Our state is so amazing. A state that works. Blah, blah, blah. Indiana for the bold my ass. How is it that we have this many poor people that we have to inject an additional $200 million into free daycare? Clearly, Braun and the General Assembly are full of crap when they talk about our economy, because we got so many poor people that can't even pay for damn daycare that they got to put $200 million behind it. So, Braun, this is the great thing about Braun. I still cannot believe Braun's people allow him to speak. Like, they should just Joe Biden him. Just put him in a basement at this point. Because every time Braun speaks, he accidentally points out the obvious. And the obvious of this is, you know who's the biggest cheerleader on this right now? The Indiana Chamber, the Chambers of Commerce. Why? Because y'all bunch of suckers that are subsidizing their workforce. That's what this is ultimately all about. You seeing and hearing me right now, you bunch of suckers, because you keep voting for these Republicans who keep kneeling at the altar of Chambers of Commerce. And that's what this is, guys. It ain't about poor people. It's about megacorps being able to keep people poor, being able to bring people in and pay them low wages, or most importantly, not pay for the daycare of their workers. Braun accidentally screwed up and said it. Megacorps should be paying for daycare for their workers. If a person cannot watch their kid because they have to work and they're not going to pay for it themselves, then they should be paying for it. The corporation should be paying for it. But this is another example. Braun accidentally, God bless Braun being a complete idiot who can't speak. Braun is the gift that keeps on giving. Griffin, don't ever let Braun stop talking. This show would lose 50% of its content if Braun stopped answering questions. Braun accidentally stooged on himself and on the Republicans in the General Assembly that this daycare thing is a giveaway to megacorps. Another example of you and me, middle-class people, subsidizing megacorps. Quote, this is from the Star. Braun said listen to this. Braun said he'd like state leaders to find a way to substantially fund the program in the future, and also called on Hoosier businesses to have some skin in the game by providing child care. Quote, Grandpa screwed up and said it out loud. Business is the main beneficiary of this, Braun said. Through creative incentives, we're going to need them to weigh in. Workforce is a big deal. We want our economy to grow. No crap, idiot. He said it right here. You're subsidizing megacorps not having to pay and be responsible for their employees. This is what the Indiana Republican Party always does. Every single time. I'm so sick of paying for megacorporations who are displacing our workers, displacing our communities, destroying our communities, getting freebies from us. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people who make choices to have kids, who make choices to have children, not being held account for it. I'm sick of having to pay for everybody else's stuff. I'm just sick of it. One thing I'm not sick of, Bramwell Mackay. Leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialist. Just a little bit, we're going to get to John Russ. John Russ will be with us. He's going to be talking about that landmark lawsuit that he had, where he really exposed how much the Republicans and Democrats hate regular people. The ballot access law that he challenged in 2024, that case that made it all the way to the state Supreme Court, split court decision, and it really revealed how much the parties actually hate you. We'll have John Russ here in just a second. But first, this is great. Our old pal Jacob Stewart, you know him, columnist, deputy opinion editor, Indy Star. He had a fascinating article that came out today on just how nasty this Brenda Wilson woman supposedly is. Now, she's the woman who's running in Senate District 38. Look, the Senate District 38 race, to me, the primary, is just the worst of everything. It's like a car wreck that you don't want to look at, but you just can't get away from. And every day there's some new article, some new report out about how just rotten our politics are, our government is, elections are, these people are that run our society. By the way, speaking of elections, I heard a rumor. Now, we'll see if I get this right. It is, remember from my mind, it is 11:08 on April the 15th. It's tax day. We'll talk about that in a little bit, too. Tax day. There is a rumor that something very big is about to happen with the elections board in Indiana. Little Birdie told me something last night. We'll see, because I will be the first person to say this publicly. We'll see if it's going down the way I heard. I don't know. We'll see. I very rarely get this wrong. Very good source last night. We'll see. And maybe here in a day or two, I'll be able to come back. Or maybe it could be a week. I don't know how long these things take to play out. But I could be back and say, see, I told you. Okay, so our old pal Jacob Stewart has this article about Brenda Wilson, which is a nasty person she allegedly is. So she is the Trump-backed challenger Turning Point USA back challenger, that Senate District 38. Again, think about your choices if you live out there. You got Greg Good, who's the incumbent, who's never won an election. So some guy's a senator you never even voted for. That sucks. You got a woman who's so bad at her, she's the Vigo County councilwoman. That's her claim to fame. That's her level of vote for me. Vigo County is Terre Haute. That place sucks beyond words. And I can say that because my family is from Terre Haute. That place is awful. That's the last place you'd look at and go, look at the great governance. You should totally promote her. And her only thing she's running on is Trump endorsed me and redistricting. And Trump knows so little about her, he couldn't even get her office right when he endorsed her. That's your primary opposition to the guy who got appointed by party insiders to his position, which gave him a gigantic head start. And then the third woman is Alexandra Wilson, who we don't even know for sure whether she was actually convicted of a felony or not. These are your choices in Clay, Sullivan, and Vigo counties. So Brenda Wilson is the Turning Point USA Trump candidate. And I have said from the beginning, the major issue is Trump didn't vet any of these people. Turning Point didn't vet any of these people. They were just begging for people to do this. It played out in we talked about the one in Northwest Indiana, Travis Holdman's challenger, Blake Feichter, I think is his name. He didn't want to run. He just woke up one day and was like, oh, crap, Trump tweeted my name. I guess I got to run. No vetting. It wasn't like they went to him and were like, let's sit down and learn about you. This Brenda Wilson woman was like the 8th choice. I know. I told you guys this before. They went and they were begging someone I know to run who would have been immediately kicked off the ballot. Like, they were begging him. They were promising millions of dollars are going to flood in. We're going to this, that, all the things they're doing for Brenda Wilson. They were promising this guy. And this guy called me and goes, Rob, you'll not believe the conversation I had with these people. And this person is not political. He's a known person, but he's not political. And I was like, oh, you going to do it? He's like, hell no, I'm not going to do it. He goes, not only do I not vote in Republican primaries, I don't even vote. I hate all these people so much. And I was like, they didn't ask you that? He's like, no. Did they ask you your beliefs? No. They were just like, we need a name. Will you run? We'll put you. Everybody's like, will you run? We'll put you in the Senate. And this guy's like, I don't want any part of any of you people. And he told them no. But so this is how they got to Brenda Wilson. They got to, just remember, they got to Brenda Wilson after the guy who doesn't even vote. That's how low on the totem pole she was. They got to Brenda Wilson after a friend of mine who doesn't even vote. So Jacob Stewart, completely roasts this woman. After you get done with us today at noon, go read the article. It's hilarious. And really what he does is he goes into how much the family of her late husband hates Brenda Wilson. Now, Brenda Wilson married a guy by the name of Fred Wilson. I don't think they have any kids together. I think it was, I believe for maybe both of them, it was a second marriage. But all of Fred Wilson's family kids were with another woman. And look, it's easy to go, okay, well, you hate the stepmother, right? I don't know. In 2026, do people hate the step-parent? Like, don't you just kind of accept in the modern era where like 50% of people are divorced? Not saying that's great. I'm just saying, like, is it automatic? Now, I know lots of people who have step-parents and they love them. So I don't say, well, they just hated her because she interfered in their family. I don't know. That'd be a great question for the YouTube chat. If you had a step-parent, look, my parents were divorced, but I never had a step-parent. If you had a step-parent, did you hate or like that person? That would be interesting. Let us know in the YouTube chat for the segment we got coming up later with producer Jason. By the way, in order to participate in the YouTube chat, you got to be a subscriber. So another reason to hit that subscribe button. We have a fabulous community of wonderful people over there. Let me know, if you had a step-parent, what sort of relationship did you have with your stepmom or your stepfather? So according to Stewart, Brenda Wilson sued Fred's kids, trying to take control of the family farm, or was involved in a lawsuit with Fred's kids. Fred Wilson was her husband, trying to take control of the family farm that the kids had been involved with for close to 40 years. She also sued them, according to Stewart, for $1 million, but that suit was later dismissed. So you got the stepmom. Well, no wonder they don't like her. You got the stepmom allegedly trying to like take control of the farm the kids have been involved in since they were teeny tiny. And she's also sued him for $1 million. There was also apparently a police report, allegedly, according to Jacob Stewart and Indy Star, a police report involving an alleged attack by Wilson of her late husband while he had been diagnosed with cancer and was undergoing treatment. Here's what Wilson's daughter, so keep in mind, the whole family endorsed Greg Good. The whole family who actually supported redistricting, or most of the family who supported redistricting, endorsed Greg Good. They hate Brenda Wilson so much. Here's what Fred Wilson's daughter. So Fred Wilson, of course, is Brenda Wilson's late husband. Here's what Fred Wilson's daughter said about supporting Greg Good. Fred Wilson was involved in the community to have a voice at the table to shape the future in a beneficial way, especially during periods of uncertainty like we face now. We recognize we are all temporary stewards of land. We're all temporary stewards of what our ancestors built. It is more important than ever we have a forward-thinking leader with honesty, integrity, and common sense. It's fascinating to me how rotten so many of these people who are in public office and want to be in public office actually are. And one of the things that I keep coming back to, and this article actually points out, and this is really important, Brenda Wilson, other than redistricting, can't really name one thing, or is not running on at least one thing she vehemently disagrees with Greg Good on, for the most part. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's one minor issue involving land use and who can own what land that she appears to disagree on Good with. But other than that, there's nothing. And this is what I keep coming back to and come back to for months. Missed opportunities to talk about meaningful stuff. Big issues. You could roast Greg. Like if I were, look, Greg, and I've talked to Greg before over the past couple of weeks. Greg, I know you'll see this. If I were running against you, I would destroy you. I will crush you. You better get on your knees and thank your lucky stars every day. You ain't running against Rob Kendall. Your record, a lot of it's bad. But because Brenda Wilson is an opportunist who just wants to be in public office, she's not running on the opportunity to talk about Greg Good and the Republican Party's actual voting record. Actual things that she could get traction on in these communities. But she doesn't care. She's disingenuous. She's not running to better the lives of Hoosiers. She's running to better the lives of herself. I mean, the Fichter guy up in Northwest Indiana proves it. Oh, Trump tweeted my name. I guess I'll run for state senate. Not because he wants to make a difference. Not because he's like, oh, man, these issues are crushing us up here in Bluffton. He's on the Bluffton City Council. I'm running for this. I'm running for you. None of that. None. Brenda Wilson is a complete and utter opportunist. I have said this for a while now. If I lived in that district, I think I would probably vote for that Alexandra Wilson woman just because of all the hell she's been through. Like, the whole thing sucks. I don't know. I'd have to actually get to know the candidates better. I told Greg Good he seems like a pretty nice guy. His employer is Todd Young, which I hold that against him. But other than that, he seems like a pretty likable dude. He did vote against redistricting. He is against the Mid-States Corridor. He roasted. Guys, I don't know if it's clipped somewhere. The Greg Good speech when he voted against redistricting is outstanding. It's amazing. It's incredible. He roasts the IEDC. It's glorious. So I don't know. That was pretty good. I don't know. Glad I don't live out there. Hate where I live, but glad I don't live where those people live. Let me rephrase it. I hate the representation that I have here. Hey guys, we'll get to the John Rust interview here in just a second. But did you know, I didn't realize this until recently, and then I met our guy John at Vent Savvy, that most bathroom exhaust fans aren't actually doing what they're supposed to do. A lot of them undersized for the room. And that means things don't get vented properly. And then you're like, well, what a big deal is that? Well, when things don't get vented properly to the outside, like when you take a hot shower, that moisture isn't leaving the house. It's staying in the house. And it can end up in your ceiling or your attic. This is a really common problem. And I plead ignorance. I knew nothing about it until I met John at Vent Savvy. And that's where Vent Savvy comes in. If you go to ventsavvy.com, this is like no risk, potentially great reward. Go to ventsavvy.com, ventsavvy.com, ventsavvy.com. Say, hey, I heard about your product on Rob's show. John from Vent Savvy. He comes out to your house free of charge. No hassle, no obligation. You're not required to do anything. He'll take a look around in your attic, see what's going on. He'll also take a look at your vent, see if it's installed properly. And then he's going to give you some suggestions on what to do. Hopefully it's nothing. But if it is, then you make the choice. No hassle, no obligation, just one Hoosier helping another. Vent Savvy, VentSavvy.com. VentSavvy.com. Tell them you heard about it on Rob's show. All right. John Russ going to join us next. We will talk about that landmark lawsuit that John filed in 2024 about ballot access that really showed how much both of these two parties hate all of us. It's coming up next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Welcome back, Rob Kendall Show. Don't forget the website, robkendallshow.com. We're also on Twitter at RobMKendall. He got screwed by the Republican establishment, and he said, I'm not taking this sitting down. He is fighting back with his voice and now with his wallet. The great John Rust joins us now. John Rust, hello.
Well, thank you, Rob. Thank you so much for having me.
So, of course, we first heard about you in 2024. You tried to run for U.S. Senate. By the way, you're a lifelong Republican, right? For the most part.
For donations, absolutely 100%. I have never given a dollar to the Democrats.
But you've given plenty to Republicans.
Absolutely.
And they took your money.
Oh, absolutely.
They were never like
tens and tens of thousands of dollars.
They're not like you're some bad member of society. No. They weren't like you're a scourge. We don't want your money. Get out of here. It seems like to be a general theme where Republicans take money from people, and then when they want to participate in the game that they've been giving to, they're like,
no.
So they
not allowed.
So they got mad at you, even though they took all your money for all those years, because you said, I want to run for U.S. Senate. And they said, no, that's Jim Banks' seat. We've already anointed the king for that seat. Right. And they took, well, you had to take them to court ultimately, because you had only voted in one Republican primary rather than two.
The most recent, yes.
Right. And so you won at the lower court level. We talked about this at the time that I felt your case was ironclad. The local court judge, district court judge, is that what he's called?
Dietrich, yes.
Yeah, Dietrich here in Indianapolis, I thought gave an incredible ruling where he basically said, and give us the numbers on this, 81% of the Indiana population is not allowed to participate in the primary process.
Correct. 81% of Hoosiers are banned from running for political office for their chosen party.
But we all have to pay for it.
But we have to pay for it. And we donate to the parties we love.
Right. So
but when we want to run ourselves, they say, no, you can't do that.
He ruled in your favor. He said, this guy's right. Because you were blocked from running. You sued. It went to court. You won. Because the other aspect of this that you guys challenged, I thought was right, is there's some golden kingmaker called the county party chair, who's also unelected, at least by the voters as a whole. And that person can look at the identical circumstances and say, this person stays and this person goes based on who they like or who gave to who or whatever. And he said, wait a second, this all can't be legal. And the lower court judge agreed with you.
Right. It's arbitrary and capricious. It's, totally up to the whims of a county chairman.
So then instead of just saying, you know what, we're kind of a bunch of a-holes, or coming off as a bunch of a-holes here, and we're keeping 81% of the people from running, and the judge just shredded us at a local level, the state, was it Rokita?
Yes.
Rokita said, no, we got to remain the biggest a-holes imaginable. And they took you to the state Supreme Court, and it was a split ruling.
A narrow split majority ruling against Hoosiers, unfortunately.
That said the ruling that the law can stand, and the state can disenfranchise 81% of people from being able to run for public office under their desired banner.
Right. And folks, where the 81% comes from, it's based on voting in 2 Republican primaries in a row or consecutive. And very few people actually do that, because there are people like me that, I worked for a living all my life. I always voted in the fall elections, but I very rarely voted in the primary, because I just assumed very naively that the Republicans were choosing actual conservatives. No.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that gets everybody, is it's not like you were out, running
we had
around
no choice
at ACLU and Planned Parenthood rallies.
No, I was busy being a farmer, feeding America and Hoosiers.
You have angered a whole bunch of people. I've been told by multiple sources they're very angry. The Banks people are very angry because Banks hates you, because Banks saw you as a serious threat to running against him. Why do you think Jim Banks is endorsing Diego Morales? He knows what Morales is.
It's money, and it's who controls this dark money, purely 100%. Frankly, David Shelton endorsed Jim Banks for U.S. Senate in 2024.
That's right. He sure did.
And, what an act of betrayal on that. If anyone should be endorsing David Shelton, it should be Jim Banks.
Yeah. So John Rust is our guest. We're talking about his support of David Shelton for Secretary of State. Why would Banks even want to have to deal with Morales? Because I think the Republicans are going to lose that seat if Morales is the nominee.
I agree. It's all about the money. The people that really own these career politicians are pulling the strings behind the scenes. Jim Banks, it would be in his 100% best interest to come out now for David Shelton, because David Shelton can beat Bo Bai.
I agree with that. I think it becomes a much tougher ask for Morales, especially if Ballard gets those 37,000 signatures.
And instead, the Republican Party is going behind, or the establishment Republican Party is going behind Diego. And in the end, I just don't think he can win. And so they are actually helping Bo Bai, in my opinion, by supporting Diego.
Well, isn't that wild that Morales has always campaigned as being this outsider? Now, of course, the reality is he's been in government forever. He's a total institutionalist. He was horrible at the job. He got fired from the Secretary of State's office once. He was about to be fired again before he quit. He went to work for Pence. He tried to run for Congress. He tried to run for Secretary of State, finally ran for Secretary of State and won. He's a total institutionalist. But the reality now is the establishment money people are behind Morales, and the rebel people are kind of behind Shelton.
Well, I think it's the grassroots are behind Shelton. It's Hoosiers that work for a living. It's teachers. It's people that, go to a job. It's not the bigwigs that are making these big checks, from Virginia or Washington, D.C. to these dark money groups. People in the state of Indiana, I think, are actually coming to David Shelton. I think that's why the Banks people are panicking on this.
Were you surprised when you ran at the pushback to you? I mean, it's like Banks has all these. That was the thing that kind of stood out to me, because I knew Banks years ago, and I used to interview Banks when he was a congressman. And I always thought, okay, this is kind of a good guy. He seems like an okay guy, like he really wants to do the right thing. And then when he got defeated, so in 2022, that's when the Republicans got the House back, right? So in 23, he runs for leadership in the Republican side, and he gets defeated by the House leadership. And it's like he flipped a switch then that he was like, no point in even trying to be for the people anymore. I'm just becoming a party stooge. And that makes me so sad because he used to seem like a pretty good guy.
Well, I think he started out good like everyone does. And I think that's why you have to have term limits, because everyone's good for a term or two. The problem is if you get in there, you get institutionalized. So a lot of people are like, John, why don't you run for state rep? Why don't you run for state senate? If I do run for something, I want to run for something for 1 or 2 terms and get the heck out. I do not want it as a career, because I think the career politicians are the people who are really responsible, for the ultra high gas tax in Indiana. We're the 5th highest in the country, believe it or not. We're the 2nd highest in sales tax. A lot of people don't realize that. We are only number 2 behind California, and we're a red state.
Were you surprised because the Banks people threw a fit and tried to bully Mitch Daniels out of that race, and then obviously they went ballistic when you tried to run? And like you just tell people when you're doing what they did, we don't want you involved. We don't want you being part of this. We're a closed club. Don't anybody different. Were you surprised at how just berserko basically everybody went on you trying to get into that race? Just saying.
Well, I took it as a badge of honor because I knew that meant they are scared to death of me.
You didn't get this. You could have gotten your own signatures though and ran as an independent. You didn't. Why?
I am a conservative. I'm a Republican. I want to save the Republican Party from itself. The problem with the Republican Party in Indiana, look at this thing on the tolls. That's bizarre that a Republican...
You're talking about Braun and I-70.
Toll for all interstates.
Right.
SB1 authorized tolls for every mile of Indiana interstate. Again, we're supposed to be a red state. You know who's copying that now? The governor of Michigan.
Yeah, Gretchen Whitmer. Yeah.
Yes. She is copying that idea now. A left-wing moonbat left Democrat governor is copying the state of Indiana to implement tolls.
John Rust is our guest. Do you still go to Republican events? Mm-hmm. Why?
I want people to know that I am listening.
Yeah.
And I want to meet the people on the ground and listen to what people have to say to, number one, to get ideas, about what people care about. Because I think that's what's lost today in the Republican Party is people just don't care what really people on the ground think. And that's what got my attention on David Shelton is at the ground level all across the state. So many people are standing up and saying, hey, wait a second. We have had it with Diego. We need someone that can actually win this fall.
Okay. So you have you given it thought what you're going to do next? Because you fixed whatever issue they used to keep you off the ballot. You're now a Republican in good standing or whatever. And
I fully expect them to keep changing the law to keep me off.
Well, they will, right? I mean, that's the thing. They'll keep changing it, and they'll keep going after. Like, remember they were the whole thing with me. It's like he's not a Republican in good standing. He's mean to Republicans, and it's like I'm not even running for anything, and you guys are having a fight. I'm retired, and we're having this big fight.
You have to hold everyone's feet to the fire.
You do, right?
Including me.
That's right.
There are no exceptions for anyone.
Yeah, and I always said when you were trying to get on the ballot, I said, I'm not supporting Russ because, I mean, you are a swell guy, but I'm not, I don't even know if I'd vote for you. I certainly wouldn't have voted for Banks, but I said, I supported you being able to run because more people should be able to be in the process.
And I told this to David Shelton. I said, I'm supporting him, even though he endorsed Jim Banks, my opponent in the Senate. I don't hold anything personally against anyone. Everyone's entitled to change their mind.
Are you going to, because everyone hates Todd Young, are you going to run against Todd Young?
I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll see. We'll see what the future brings.
Okay, so you brought some stuff with you.
I brought some stuff for you, Rob.
We have to point this out. First of all, and maybe producer Jason can let me know if people can see this as I'm holding it up. It is a button. It says, Rob Kendall is right, the Rob Kendall Show. We now have an official button that John Rust has brought us of the
that
Rob
I personally
Kendall Show.
Made.
Yeah, you made these. Because when you were running for Senate, you were
I had a button maker. So
we have a collection of these now that we'll be able to give away. We'll have to figure out how we're going to disperse these to the masses. And then, I love this one. It says, Dirty Diego, who paid for India, I think I'm just going to walk around the public square with both of these buttons on at all times. And so we're going to figure out a way, maybe to some of our best, most loyal patrons, subscribers, engagers, whatever, how to give these two very fabulous buttons away. Thank you for these. These are going to be
you're very welcome.
Luminaries.
Well, thank you from the grassroots of the Republican Party, because people all across the state are listening to this show, the Rob Kendall Show, on YouTube.
And so when we heard, was it Adam Wren of Politico and Importantville maybe reported this, that you were giving away the billboards to Shelton. And we heard about that, and we said, hey, Rust, we said, we need a billboard for our show when you're done with Shelton. And you have said we can have a billboard. Is that
Absolutely.
correct? Here is you mocked this up. I don't know if we're going to use this as the final thing or not, but we may soon, producer Jason, have on an interstate near you a Rob Kendall is right, Rob Kendall Show billboard.
Yes, isn't it nice to see something like that other than for a lawyer?
How long does this take to make one? Like how does a billboard even come together?
The digital go pretty fast.
Oh, okay. So I could I crawl up there and get my photo next to the sign? I love this. What are you doing now? If people want to find you, if they want to learn more about you,
go to johnrust.com, JOHNRUST.com. And also I have a radio show on Freedom 95. It airs at 1 p.m. on Saturdays and again at 6 a.m. on Tuesday mornings.
What do you do? What do you do on your
I
show?
mostly interview political candidates.
Oh, okay.
So this week I am interviewing Janice Brown, who is running for the 5th District Congress lady.
Okay.
Against Jefferson Shreve. I plan on interviewing some state senators. So I'm doing that and just giving my take on Indiana politics and just basic, Hoosier conservatism.
We say all the time, I need more rich friends. Rust is my only rich friend that I have. So I'm clinging to you like grim death, buddy.
Well, the egg market is changing quickly. So, I'll give an egg update if you would like to hear.
That's my question before I let you go. And then I want to get to this. So Trump says he lowered the price of eggs. Mm-hmm. Did Trump actually lower the price of eggs?
The free market worked, which it should work.
Yeah.
We, like every farmer out there, when you fill up your chicken houses, you're going to have more eggs being produced. After all of our chickens, unfortunately, over the last 2 years, so many of them were killed by bird flu. Every farm across the nation has refilled their barns now. And so now there is an abundant supply of eggs.
Okay,
so the eggs we're getting today, I think 35 cents a dozen for our eggs.
That sounds low.
And, it costs $1.70 to produce them.
So you're losing money.
Oh, absolutely. But that's okay. That's the free market at work, folks. And that's why I want to preach about free market capitalism, because it really does solve everything if you just let it work. I don't believe in crony capitalism. I don't believe in the IEDC coming in and picking winners and losers in our economy. It should be up to Hoosiers to decide what our economy is, not elected leaders.
Oh, John Rust has changed our life. We got buttons now. We have a billboard soon. We got to figure out where the most amount of politicians who hate me are going to see it, and that's where we'll put it. John Rust, johnrust.com. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple. clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheeson.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Gosh darn it, things move fast right now. We've got a big announcement coming up in just a second. Before we do that, though, and then of course my producer Jason with the best YouTube comments of the day. Buying a home is the biggest investment you'll ever make for many people, and it's about so much more than just the price tag. It's about starting your next chapter. That's where Lauren Wilson with @Properties comes in. Her goal is to make sure you feel 100% confident in every decision you make. Not just there to show you houses, she's there to guide you through the whole process. Schools, neighborhoods, local routes, all the stuff. Lauren Wilson with @Properties. She's a lifelong Hoosier, military vet, heck of a nice woman. She'd love the opportunity, even if you're not in the home buying or selling business right now, to get to know you. Never paid to have that person on speed dial. So when you make the choice to pull the trigger, one step already out of the way. Lauren Wilson with @Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. And with that, it is time for everyone's favorite segment, where we read the best, most intriguing YouTube comments of the day. Producer Jason joins us now.
How we doing, Rob?
Tell us about the fabulous sponsor that brings us the YouTube comments each day.
Brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing, 765-315-7558. Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing, 765-315-7558.
All right, so we got to address something here. We move fast on this show. So obviously, a lot of our interviews, they're taped ahead of time. It's just to work around people's schedules, when we're in here, when we have access to the space. And we taped that interview with Rust earlier this week, John Rust, and we were joking about the billboard. And several of you have pointed out, yeah, we have a billboard now. In fact, we have multiple billboards.
Pretty awesome, isn't it? Haven't seen them yet, but we've seen photos.
Our show has a billboard.
Is that amazing?
How about that? Okay, so Rust was super kind. He let us stay up on the bill. I don't know how long he's going to let us stay up there, but it's a cool looking billboard. It's on 65, right, around Greenwood?
I don't know who designed it, but they did a hell of a job.
So if you're on 6, and we'll get you an exact location because they just went up.
Well, I know that one is on 65 South, right before the Main Street Greenwood exit, and I believe he's got another one. There's another one maybe northbound. So I think you've got a northbound, southbound, and maybe one on 69. I'm not sure. We'll have to get the list out there. Or better yet, if you drive by it, let us know.
I love that because he was just like, we were just clowning around about the billboards, because what happened was Adam Wren from Politico had reported Rust is supporting Shelton. He was going to give him some of his billboards, space on some of his billboards, and I was just like clowning around. I was like, hey, I said it on the show. I said, John, we need a billboard. And he was like, absolutely. I thought he was messing around. He shows up the other day. Here's your billboard. And we were like, Well, are you serious?
That was amazing because that was like, I mean, the interview was, what yesterday? Or?
Yeah, a couple days ago, yeah.
Okay, and then, the billboard, he's like, hey, got it ready for you.
He shows up with that paper. We were like, well, we were just kind of messing around. I was like, no, you can have it for a little bit. No problem. And so we were like, well, if we can have the billboard, how about if we made it look like this? Like, we didn't want to sound ungrateful. Jason's like, hey, tell him it probably look better like this, but don't let him think we're ungrateful.
You said that out loud.
So if you see the billboard, they're on 65, at least a couple of them. It's a digital billboard. If you see it, let us know. I know some people in the YouTube chat have already commented that they saw the billboard. And look, I finally found a rich friend.
You finally found
one. It took me 40 years.
It's like, Jason has no money. What the hell am I doing hanging out with him?
So thanks to John Rust for he's been a huge supporter of our show. Very, very, very good to us. And so thank you, John, for putting the billboards up. If you see the billboard, let us know. We'd love to know about it.
And thanks to the people in the chat who helped me out. The assistant producers. I know we had a screw up there early in the show, and then just recently there was a little bug in here a minute ago. You didn't hear it, Rob, because you don't wear headphones, but it was there. But it's fixed now because it's that's the way we do things around here. But it's good when people let me know that and let me know that it's fixed. And apparently it's fixed, so I get to tear it all down here in a few minutes and can do it all again tomorrow. But
well, look,
we could have it down by now.
We told people from the beginning. We told people from the beginning. This is a temporary setup that we're in. We don't pretend to be anything we're not. We don't have a team of people behind us. We have Jason, myself, and Russ billboard. That's
all we need.
That's our team.
Like the jerk. Steve Green with an E starts us off today. Good morning, everyone. With the record high temps, it's a great day to bring the heat. You brought a little heat today.
I think so. I think I did.
Kevin Branham. Dan was great yesterday. He should be a regular. Dan Dockett.
Oh, yeah. We love Dan.
Anthony Drew Gary.
That's our friend Anthony is running for county council out in Hendricks County. If you live in the greater Brownsburg area, I don't do endorsements anymore. I will tell you who I vote for, though. I'm voting for him. Sorry, however many votes that costs him.
I'm actually at my desk at the right time today. Thanks for the shout out yesterday and today.
That's right. You're welcome.
Yeah, I added that. Andy Engel. Let's not make Dan a regular. Chris Gaskin, about 90 minutes away from the Jason Show with co-host Rob Kendall.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
There's your fan club.
All right, Rob. Be careful who you hire. D Nice. We got some new people in. D Nice. Good morning. Love the show, Rob and Jason. I just added that in because D's new.
D Nice.
D Nice. MLM Warriors, a regular. Hot Mike. This was earlier.
Yeah.
I feel bad for producer Jason having to set up, take down, and make adjustments every day.
Yeah.
Glad somebody appreciates the effort.
We'll get to a permanent studio eventually, and when we do, then we won't have to do that anymore.
We kind of lean on that a little bit as the excuse all the time, but it's true.
And look, this studio is fabulous. Chris has been phenomenal to us. It's just not how we would probably set it up, which we didn't anticipate it would be. It's his place.
Well, they've got awesome gear and things.
Oh, they do.
Don't let us touch it, so we have to bring our own. Richard Valenti Jr. Rob, any chance that you and Ben Stein or some of the group of guys I think he had a little typo here. Rob, any chance that you and Ben Stein could have a monthly get-together is what he's trying to say.
I have not.
You used to have Ben on, didn't you?
I did, and I used to be on Ben Stein's podcast. Did I ever tell you about the time Ben Stein sent stuff to my house?
Oh? Did you open it?
Yeah, well, it
had your wife do it in case this blows up.
Well,
somebody's got to take care of the kid.
I was like, this was before kid. This was way before kid. And he sent like a box of stuff. It was a microphone for me to do the show with, one of those blue ball mics.
What'd you do with that? Did you sell it?
I don't know where it's at now. I've moved since then. I may still have it.
Huh, okay.
And then like it was a whole bunch of stuff for my wife, like chocolates and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, why, Ben? And he's like, well, it's very nice that your wife allows you to do the show each time. I was like, my wife is sound asleep. It's 11 o'clock when we do this show. You're on the West Coast. She doesn't even know I'm doing this show. Why does she get all the stuff?
There you go.
Anyway, yes, we used to do the Ben Stein Show podcast. I've not talked to Ben in a while. I will see. I still have Ben Stein's phone number. I will see how Ben is doing. Maybe he will come on with us.
M. Bellor, you mentioned a few weeks ago that you were hoping to be moving to a new space by the following week. Where are you on the move to a new stadium? Again, that was not quite typed right, but you think we could get Braun to pay for our studio? Maybe get a tax incentive?
Maybe the IEDC would step up
Would
for
we
us.
have to go to Hammond to do
now,
that?
See, the problem we have, the government's not going to help us because we are not creating jobs for HB1 workers to come from India.
Well, we're getting paid.
That's our problem.
Not yet, but we will.
But they're not HB1.
Promising me.
They're not. The jobs we're creating are for Americans, and that's the biggest problem. The IEDC hates American jobs. If you're not shipping them in from India, then they're not down with that.
Gotcha. C. Lucas Notaris, Dubois County, in the house. McLovin's, here we go. So, was feeling kind of ornery this morning.
Uh-oh.
I must confess. Stopped in the old chat.
Oh.
Said hello to a couple peeps. Hit thumbs down. And said,
oh, no.
1 hour, 59 minutes till Jason. Don't judge me.
The thumbs down does help them, by the way.
We don't encourage it.
We
don't encourage any sort of negativity. We find it funny, but we don't encourage it.
It's almost like the internet version of graffiti. We don't encourage any graffiti.
I mean, they're not allowed to say your name, so...
Isn't that crazy that they were banned from saying my name at the old place? Isn't that just the most bizarre...
We don't say their names usually, though.
I say IBC all the time.
Well, WIBC, but yeah.
I mean, right. Well, I was that show, though. I mean, come on, right? I had a show on WIBC.
Did I read this earlier that from George Stewart?
Is that his real name? That sounds like a. Oh, that was Jimmy Stewart that I was thinking
George L. Stewart. Katz has a studio in his home available from 9 to noon.
What time's he get done? Is it 9? He is done at 9.
I think so, yeah, and then he starts up again later on and does the whole re-thing.
Here's what I say about any show, regardless of what format it is on or what location. We cheer for any show that is going to cover Indiana politics and government and tell you the truth. We want any show that's going to do that, that's going to take on the battles like we're taking on here. We want them to succeed. Now, do they do that? I don't know what they do. I hope they do. If they're doing that, I'm cheering for them. If they're not, you should be asking them, why aren't they doing it? I think that's fair game. But if they're doing that, we want them to do well. We want them to succeed. If not, everybody should be asking them, why are you shying away from covering Braun and Indiana politics?
Well said, Rob. James McCartney, what up, party people? Rob, I seen your billboard near Main Street in Greenwood.
Oh, it's near Main Street. Okay.
Yeah.
It just went up, so that's awesome.
Good way to get the word out.
Thank you.
There we go. I don't know if that's northbound and southbound or just southbound. You'd think more people would probably see it heading home this afternoon.
Look, and we don't want anybody to do anything that's going to get you in trouble with law enforcement or create a danger. If you're traveling and you have another motorist with you that could snap a photo at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter, I'd love to see the billboard from your point of view, but don't break any applicable laws or put anyone in danger.
You were talking about daycare and things like that earlier.
I'm paying for the day. I pay.
Steve Green with an E. Since I'm retired, I guess I'll start a daycare down here in Lawrence County. Kevin Branham, I'm starting a Leering Center.
A what?
Wrong state. You know, the Leering Center.
Oh,
Learning Center. Without the end.
I see what he did there.
Yeah,
I got you.
got to learn to put that in.
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Vic Ferrari, politicians run the state like they're in Field of Dreams. Develop it, and they will come.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got.
Isn't that a worthwhile question, too? Like, why do our taxes keep going up? We have all this stuff that's supposedly happening. Why do we have so many poor people that we have to spend $200 million for them to have free daycare? Like, if our economic development plan is so great, why do we have all these poor people?
Thank you. TTVC8FD. A new one.
It's
in
a code name.
Code name. Thank you, Mr. Carter, for your service.
Doug Carter.
Yeah. Absolutely. Jack the Libertarian. We have corruption in Hancock County. Probably ought to look into that. The Old Man 68. Everyone down here in southern Indiana are cheering this arrest. That would be of Kleinhelter.
Right.
He is hated only a little less than Braun in Dubois County.
Real quick, I wanted to touch on something. Carter, there was a lot of stuff we got to Doug Carter. If you missed any part of that interview about Kleinhelter, he made a good point. this doesn't have to be over. He can still be held to account for the crap that he pulled, which he should, if Holly Huddleston, the Orange County special prosecutor, will release it to another special prosecutor. She can do the right thing. She is covering for him by not doing that. Carter touched on that, and we were running out of time when we got to it. I want to point that out. This does not have to be over. Now I'm over.
Bartelt Farms down in southern Indiana in Dubois County. Thank God the people have a voice. Governor Braun needs to realize being governor does not mean he gets to dictate what goes on in this state. Ethan Hatcher, good interview with Doug Carter, Rob.
Thank you, Ethan. Ethan hasn't, by the way, if people are fans of Ethan, if you're still with us, don't you have some sort of breakfast coming up where you're trying to get all your listeners
breakfast
together?
With Ethan. We encourage everybody to go have breakfast with Ethan.
Ethan, if you're still there, you can tell everybody about it because Ethan's having a get-together.
We're allowed to say Ethan's name.
Yeah.
Old Guy, Kansas. I'm thinking that's Kansas. KS. I don't know. Rob's interview skills are very good. That's respectful without backing down.
I have many talents.
Bring Back Rob 1 is the name of the
That's an actual screen name?
Bring Back Rob 1. Doug Carter for governor.
That's the screen name. I like that.
That is. Children. You were talking about children.
Oh, yes.
Having children. Yeah. Thomas Ho. My children are my greatest accomplishment. And then Vic Ferrari. Oh, great. Rob is reproducing.
Sure, everybody has known that for 2.5 years now, I think.
Ethan Hatcher. Rob, if parents left a 10-year-old child alone in the house in today's world, they would likely be reported and charged with child neglect. This ain't the 80s or 90s anymore.
Is that a thing? If you left
I think people are that way. They'd be like, oh, these kids are left alone.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think my parents
You can't even leave the parents alone anymore these days.
You mean kids?
Well, parents.
Oh, the parents. Because my mom. So the way it worked, my dad was a federal law enforcement officer. My mom worked for the county for years, and then she took a year off and then went back to teaching. My mom was originally a teacher, and then she went back to teaching. And they were like, well, because they took me out of daycare when my mom stayed home for a year, and they're like, what do we do with Rob? And they're like, he's a responsible kid. He has a telephone if he needs to get a hold of us. My mom, literally, when she was a teacher, the high school was, like right across the street. They're like, this is stupid. He can take care of himself. He knows what to do.
That was back in Leave It to Beaverland, though, Brownsburg back then, right? I mean,
but if your kid doesn't answer the door, what trouble can they possibly get into?
Right.
Don't answer the door.
I think these days kids would cause the trouble.
Well, possibly, but not if you raise them right.
Well, that's a big ask.
Well, there you go. I'm subsidizing people who can't raise their kids right.
Okay, and you mentioned something about the step parents are getting along.
Yes, I said because Brenda. Okay, so Brenda was about the article Jacob Stewart wrote in Indy Star roasting Brenda Wilson, and what would be her step kids basically hate her guts. And so I was saying, okay, at first when I saw this, like, okay, well, stepmom, people are naturally inclined to maybe they hate her because they broke up the family, or I'm not saying she did that, but I'm saying, and then I thought there's tons of people who have step parents who love their step parents. So many people are divorced now. I don't think it's what it used to be.
Probably a lot of people like their step parents more than their real parents.
I never had step parents though, so I'd be curious what people thought of their step parents.
Last comment, Nicholas Kurtz. Ask Coach Dockich from yesterday. He lets his ex-wife's ex-husband crash at his place.
Dockich is okay. This is
which is not a big deal. I mean, I get along with my ex's husband. I thank him quite often. Thank you for being there. Never would have left. That's me. We get along. I get along with my ex. Fantastic.
And by the way, I said you have procreated, so you know how it works, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you were fully aware.
Yeah.
You said one, we're done.
Well, no, I was told there wouldn't even be one. Don't worry, it can't happen. It's like Disneyland's open for business. Oh, Mr. Lucky, Mr. One-Shot Lucky,
and you were young.
I was young.
You were a young parent,
and
I'm an old parent.
The only one, but it was one shot. That was it.
And you're like Eminem song.
Could never, 14 years and never had another. Never could. But it's one. Now I'm glad just one was enough.
You mentioned Dockich. I think the most fun I've ever had at a party, I went to Dockich's 60th birthday party. It was freaking awesome. There were like all these
Michael Jordan there.
It was, well, there were a bunch of old IU basketball players there. Dockich is the most fun guy, super cool dude. And I totally believe that story told about Michael Jordan owing him money. Hey, masonry color mismatch, previous repair catching your eye, not happy with the brick color on your home, or ready for a total makeover, any of those. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, want to build something new, Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell built Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, beauty built to endure. I forgot to let you thank the sponsor.
It's been 7 weeks. We probably ought to sit down and figure out a smooth.
No, I screwed that up.
No, that's
I did it.
We
was
haven't really.
Tell us who
figured out a way.
sponsors the YouTube chat.
That's the chat, Rob, sponsored by Black Sheep Plumbing. Give them a call.
What a trained professional.
So long, everybody.
God, I am just rotten at this job. No wonder they got rid of me. All right, man. What a great show today. I want to thank Doug Carter for coming by, John Rust as well. And by the way, those buttons, we're going to do something fun with the buttons. Jason and I got to figure out exactly what we're going to do. Maybe we'll do it like people, support the show over at robkendallshow.com. I don't know exactly. We'll do something fun with those buttons because they are awesome. I was crying when he gave those to me. They're so funny. I think I'll wear them tomorrow. But I want to thank you guys for another great day. Please, even though the show's wrapping up today, on demand, you go back and watch us anytime you want on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify. Tell people about us. Help us grow the show. If you haven't, hit the little thumbs up button. Let us know you like the show today. Certainly appreciate it. Tomorrow we're going to have a fun show. Blythe Potter's going to be with us. She is challenging Bo By for Secretary of State at the Democrat convention this June from the left. A lot of people aren't happy about the By dynasty on the left, and they said, we're voting for her. So two people in the media think she could actually win. They wouldn't be all that surprised. It could be a fascinating conversation. How do you beat a dynasty? Blythe Potter will tell us about that tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day. Great job, Jason, as always. I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.